Did you know high-quality versions of all episodes of Freedom Rocks are available on DVD? Each DVD contains 3 episodes for just $15. We also have specials that aren't on our CTV or YouTube. You can find links to all of our DVDs on the Freedom Rocks website, freedomrocs.cybermansoftware.com.
Hi, and welcome to Freedom Rocks. Today, we're doing more interviews with candidates for the Monroe County Legislature, running on the Libertarian Party line. For this segment, we have Max Kessler, who's running in the 27th
District against Willie Lightfoot Jr. And only against Willie Lightfoot Jr. because there's no Republican candidate that we know of. That means there's no committee-endorsed Republican candidate. We don't know yet if anyone's circulating designating petitions.
Isn't he a traffic safety instructor along those lines?
No, he's a traffic unsafety instructor. Carrying on an old family tradition.
Yes, apparently.
My primary priority, my first and foremost priority, is the budget, slashing the budget. The 2011 budget, the county is spending approximately $931 million. And as always, it is a quote-unquote balanced budget, which means the revenue they bring in will balance out with the expenditures. For example, the Department of Aviation will spend $21,787,220, and they will bring in $21,787,220 in revenue.
Do they break the cigar budget out from the airport?
I'm not sure, but that was I mean, that's $16,000. So they're,
yeah, I know.
So their revenues are gonna, so their appropriations excluding that would be $21,771,220. Board of Elections will spend and receive $7,220,258. Here's the big one. Environmental Services will spend exactly $88,358,913, and magically their revenue will be, you guessed it, $88,358,913.
It's amazing how they can predict that so exactly.
Oh yeah, that's how they managed to get a balanced budget.
Now I noticed there was that for information services the budget was 0, and I know they have computers there, so I'm wondering, like, why isn't this a complete budget?
But it is a complete budget. You see, information services, once again, that balances out, but only because every dime that's spent on information services, let's see if I have it here, actually I don't think I have it. Every dime they spend comes from another department.
Then why have the line item at all?
Because you want to know how much they're spending on it. Basically, they do chargebacks on that one. So every dime the information services budget spends, it charges to other departments within the county. So it may look like, hey, it's balanced. It's not spending anything, it's not costing anything, but those chargebacks cost plenty. It's just not showing up in the information services budget. It's showing up in the Department of Aviation budget, the Board of Elections budget, the Human Services budget, etc.
Well, you know, we're obviously in these times of fiscal constraint, we're going to have to cut the budget. Where would you start that?
I would start with with salaries and fringe benefits. One of the absolutely absurd things is that in most departments, the fringe benefits are approximately half of the salaries.
And does that include things like county-owned cars?
That includes everything that's a fringe benefit. So let's see. I think I printed out one of them. Here we go. This is a good one. Department of Public Health, Division of Administration and Special Services. Their budget for personnel services, basically salaries, is $1,394,004. Their employee benefits are $1,721,270. So this one department within the county is spending more money on fringe benefits than they're spending on actual salaries. And the sad thing is, the people who work for the Department of Public Health, Division of Administration and Special Services probably drink the union Kool-Aid and believe that they're underpaid because they don't see the $1,721,270. They only see the $1,394,004. That's what shows up on their paycheck.
Yeah, as opposed to people like us that are self-employed that don't have any fringe benefits whatsoever.
Zero, zip, zilch, nada. I mean, the only benefit we have is flexible schedules.
But no paid vacation, unfortunately.
No paid vacation. We don't work, we don't eat.
That's the principle on which America was founded. So, besides the budget, obviously there are other issues.
Yes.
You support the right to keep and bear arms and carry guns in the county parks if you have a permit to do so.
Yes.
Which
and
is, well, go ahead.
We've got only 1 minute. I was planning to get into that in the next segment.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
well,
yeah.
We do have about 45 seconds, so if there's anything.
Well, the other thing is sales tax sharing with the city. Under the Marin-Ryan sales tax sharing agreement, the first 3 cents out of the county's 4% sales tax, the city receives half the annual growth in sales tax collections. The remaining half is divided among the city, county, and towns. The city share of tax may never exceed 35.63% of total collections. The additional 1%...
Hold on, we'll be right back.
Yep.
Did you know Freedom Rocs has swag? You can help stimulate the economy and show how much you like Freedom Rocs at the same time. We've got t-shirts for men and women. We've got coffee mugs and beer steins. We've got food and beverage thermoses. You can get your own Freedom Rocs swag with the show logo, as seen in the opening title of the show, right here at our Cafe Press shop. That's cafepress.com/freedomrocs.
Hi, and welcome back to Freedom Rocs. As always, we don't get Nielsen ratings, so please visit the website on the bottom of your screen and let us know what you think about our show.
Yes, as I was saying before the break, under the Marin-Ryan sales tax sharing agreement, the current valuation of it has the city of Rochester receiving $125,411,236. The towns get $83,190,334. The suburban school districts get $57,668,880. The villages get $8,903,428. Total, $275,173,878. That means the city of Rochester gets 46% of the county's local share of the sales tax. And what have they done with it?
You know, I don't have the line-by-line breakdown, but, you know, I've always thought that this incentivizes the city to not care about their small businesses because...
Ding, 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 ding.
Right. If they move out to the suburbs, the city still gets sales tax. So
Yes.
what's their incentive to provide a business-friendly atmosphere?
Correct. That $125 million and change is money the city gets regardless of where the businesses are. What I'd like to do, and unfortunately we don't have the power here at the county level, we have to lobby the state for this because the Marin-Ryan sales tax sharing agreement was incorporated into state law. One thing I'd like to do is split the county's sales tax jurisdiction into two separate jurisdictions, one inside the city and one outside the city. That way, what we'll do is we'll give the city more money from sales inside the city and less money from sales outside the city, eventually phasing out all funding from sales outside the city. This way, the city can't collect, well, I guess we've got terms like welfare for individuals, corporate welfare for businesses. Let's just call it political welfare for the city. So the city's collecting this money. They don't care where the businesses are. If you cut off funding from suburban sales, the city has a reason to care about business in the city.
All right. Well, I started to ask you about the Second Amendment issues before, but now we have a little more time to get into depth.
Yes.
As you know, people are not allowed to carry weapons in county parks, even if they have a permit to carry concealed. You know, even if they can walk right past your house where your children are playing. If you know, for those who perceive that as a threat, that's okay, but they can't take a walk in the park.
Yes. County Law, Section 323-28, weapons. A, no person except a law enforcement officer shall carry any firearm, switchblade, gravity knife, slingshot, or other dangerous weapon concealed on or about his or her person while in a park. B, no person except a law enforcement officer shall carry, fire, or discharge any rifle, shotgun, machine gun, rocket, or fireworks of any description, bow or arrow in a park. I don't know how you fire a bow or an arrow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
C, these prohibitions shall not apply to instrumentalities reasonably necessary for trapping utilized by persons authorized to trap in a park pursuant to Section 323-18B. Non-observance of this section shall constitute a misdemeanor. Now, last I checked, the Bill of Rights doesn't end at the entrance to a park. Though, to be fair, I don't think there's much use for the Third Amendment there.
Right, yeah, quartering soldiers in your home.
You're not going to be quartering soldiers in your home in a park, but yeah, the Second Amendment applies in parks. So, and particularly since we've had two recent incidents. There was someone kidnapped. A woman was kidnapped from Genesee Valley Park, which is inside the 27th Legislative District, mostly. She was kidnapped at gunpoint by someone who was clearly violating this section.
Yeah, it doesn't apply to the people that go there and taken
around to ATMs and forced to withdraw money so the guy could steal it. There was also someone robbed at shotgun point in the town of Gates along the Erie Canal. Once again, a place you're not allowed to carry guns. And you may have actually seen my letter to the editor of the DNC about this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes it you know, it's the same argument you can apply anywhere. You know, if you're gonna if you're gonna rob somebody, you're not gonna pay attention to the "No guns allowed in this park" sign. You know, I mean, wherever you're caught, you know, robbery with a gun is.
Well, if they even bother to post a sign, because there's no signs that I've seen in Genesee Valley Park indicating that you can't carry guns there. But the thing is, criminals aren't all stupid. The stupid ones always get caught anyway, but they're not all stupid. A lot of them know that it's illegal to carry guns in parks, and what they do is they specifically target people in the parks because they know that any law-abiding citizen in the park is unarmed. So the parks essentially become victim disarmament zones.
Yes, unfortunately. And just to be clear, I mean, we're not talking rocket launchers, right?
No.
I mean, the law prohibits using rockets in the county park, but that's not actually, you know, we're talking about people that already have permits to carry weapons and
yes, we're talking
thoroughly vetted.
We're talking about people who have pistol licenses issued pursuant to Section 400.00 of the state penal law.
Yeah, which involves extensive background checks.
Although I find it kind of amusing that the county actually allows people with licenses to carry firearms in county office buildings, county facilities, but the city of Rochester doesn't. So under county law, you can carry in the county office building. Under city law, you can't.
Interesting. Well, we've got about 5 seconds left before our next break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
As you may have noticed, you can watch Freedom Rocs for free on RCTV or on YouTube, but it takes money to produce good quality TV shows. You can support Freedom Rocs by shopping at our Cafe Press shop. There you can find t-shirts for men and women, tote and gym bags, coffee mugs, beer steins, food and beverage thermoses, and a bunch of other items Cafe Press offers. You can find our shop at cafepress.com/freedomrocs, all lowercase and no apostrophe.
Have you ever played WTF Sudoku?
You mean WTF as in what the f***?
Yes.
What the f*** is so all fired? What the f*** about Sudoku?
Regular Sudoku is played on a 9x9 grid with exactly one of every digit 1 through 9 in every row, column, and 3x3 grid.
So what?
WTF Sudoku is played on a 25x25 grid with exactly one of every letter A through Y in every row, column, and 5x5 group.
WTF. How can I play WTF Sudoku?
You can play it online at www.cybermansoftware.com/games. You can also buy a book of puzzles on Amazon.com. Just search for WTF Sudoku.
Book? You mean on paper?
Yes, that's correct.
So that's www.cybermansoftware.com/games or by searching for WTF Sudoku on Amazon.com?
Yes.
Hi, and welcome back to Freedom Rocs. This time we're interviewing Max Kessler, the Libertarian candidate for County Legislature in the 27th District. So we've covered some classic Libertarian issues like guns and taxes. Is there any other points you want to stress in this campaign?
Also within the 27th District is the Greater Rochester International Airport. And Section 205-96 of the county law is passenger screening. I think you know where I'm going on this one.
Yes, always a lively topic.
Yes. It says all persons passing through a point of final passenger screening without a Greater Rochester International Airport identification card or an approved tenant identification card shall submit at this point to such passenger screening as is required by the Federal Aviation Administration. Now, we all know what that means in this day and age. It means butt-naked scanners and or the blue glove sex offenders. I want to follow Texas's lead and put language in here that prohibits any screener from touching any person's genitals, buttocks, or female breast or breast cleavage as part of any exam. And if the feds want to say no departures from New York, screw them.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's certainly broad concern among people of all different political stripes about this, and you know, obviously, it doesn't prevent terrorism. You know, I mean, if you really
the crotch bomber who flew into Detroit would not have gotten caught by these things because apparently the bomb was tucked discreetly between his legs, and so it wouldn't have caught him. However, the fact that he bought a one-way ticket to Detroit should have been a big red flag.
Yeah, well, I mean, no offense to the people of Detroit, but you know, it's a nice place to visit. I wouldn't want to live there. In
other words, round trip.
Yeah, I mean, Rochester doesn't have the best economy, but Detroit is not in that good shape. Yeah, I mean, and plus, you know, of course, they're not training people even to use the scanners. You know, I've read reports where they basically, I mean, they have people that they hire like secret shoppers or whatever to you know, carry what look like weapons, you know, through these scanners, and they just pass right through.
Well, there's a psychological phenomenon here. When you look at the same thing over and over and over and over again, it's tough to spot when something's out of the ordinary because you're not expecting something out of the ordinary. It's a psychological phenomenon. So people get through because the airport screeners don't see the contraband, and they don't see it because they're expecting not to see it, because they're too heavily accustomed to not seeing it.
Yeah, which is a problem with any sort of screening procedure. You know, it's the Israelis.
Well, now, Israelis is the perfect example. They use dogs. Okay, dogs aren't distracted by the everyday repetition of passengers walking through a butt-naked scanner. The dogs know what to smell for, and they go straight to it. But there's one more issue I want to get to, and that is an issue I was planning to run on when I originally sought the Libertarian Party nomination for this very same office back in 2005. And that is AWOL machines, alcohol without liquid. Basically, it's an inhaled form of alcohol vapors mixed with oxygen. Now, the law says, legislative intent. This legislature hereby finds and determines that AWOL, an acronym for alcohol without liquid, is a machine that mixes spirits with pure oxygen, creating a cloudy alcohol vapor which can be inhaled through the nose or mouth. B, this legislature further finds and determines that individuals who inhale alcohol vapors are faced with a number of personal health risks, as opposed to people who drink lots of alcohol. Since the alcohol vapors are absorbed through the blood vessels in the nose or lungs, it creates a quicker and more intense effect on the brain because the vapors bypass the stomach and liver. Health experts have claimed that the practice of inhaling alcohol vapor is linked to brain damage, as opposed to drinking alcohol. This legislature further finds and determines that the AWOL machine creates serious health and safety risks for the community as a whole. Currently, AWOL is being marketed as a way to consume greater quantities of alcohol without the calories of beer, wine, or liquor. Among the likely effects of increased and more widespread use of this product will be an increase in incidents of drunken driving, underage drinking, and other alcohol abuses. Where do they get that information?
Yeah. And how would this make it easier for underage people to consume alcohol? It sounds like they have to get a machine instead of just drinking it out of a bottle.
The thing is, they were planning in 2005, the company that imports this device was planning to market it to bars. Now, the bars are already required to check people's ID to make sure they're of legal age. They're also required by law to limit how much alcohol people can consume. It is already illegal under state law to serve alcohol to someone who's visibly intoxicated. The same thing would apply to AWOL.
Yeah, I mean, it's
ridiculous. We've got to get this nonsense repealed. So, yeah. We've touched on the three main libertarian issues: taxes, guns, drugs.
Yes. Well, that's not our official platform, but you know, that I mean, it certainly makes sense. I mean, we're not talking about, you know, cocaine. We're talking about alcohol, which
is already legal.
Right. I mean, it's just some.
It's just a different form. The thing is, it's one of those things where they say it's for the children, because they say that it's going to lead to underage drinking, but the whole point of this thing is that you're not drinking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there couldn't have been any evidence or studies because it hasn't been around long enough. But
especially not at the time this bill was passed.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we're almost out of time. Thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you next time, and
check out this website.